the dirty, the lazy, the iconic. Let's rank the DLC tracks in Wave 4. What is up, shy guys and gals? My name is Shyguykartbusiness and welcome to the channel. Please like this video so I know you guys want to see more of this Mario Kart 8 Deluxe content, and please subscribe to the channel to be the first to watch these fresh new videos. So Wave 4 is easily my favorite wave, taking over Wave 1. The quality of these tracks is very safe and outperforms many of the base game tracks, which is huge. I enjoyed every second of this DLC and playing with one of my favorite characters ever, being Birdo. I just love her new voice lines, her animations, and her charm, man. She is so adorable. Jumping right in at the bottom of the list, we have his number 8 being Mario Circuit. So let's start with the things I liked about this track, and then we're going to end it off with things that I didn't like. So first off, I want to say that I love the sunlights coming in through the forest. It gave me major Wooded Kingdom vibes, and I just love that extra touch. I also want to say that the turns on this track were really comfortable. And as I was racing through the forest section, in and out, I was wondering the first 2 laps, where the heck is that Wiggler that was shown in the promotional posters? I can't see him. And I saw he was sleeping, and I was like, why is he not walking around? What? Come on, man, wake up. And then in the final lap, we saw him cruising around the track, and honestly, it was such a nice and great obstacle. Now let's talk about the things I wasn't a fan of for this track. So first off is, of course, the 2D sprites for the crowd. It just looks very cheap. Nintendo, you're a multi-million-dollar company. I don't think you guys should be skipping steps like this and putting in 2D sprites in the crowd. It just looks hilarious. And of course, the textures were... what the heck, man. I have to say though, they're better than Toad Circuit. They're not as terrible, but it is definitely the Toad Circuit of the wave. Overall, just underwhelming and not that special. But again, it's not a bad track. None of the tracks in this wave, surprisingly, were bad and boring and felt dragged on. They were all pretty superstar tracks. Into the Netherlands, at number 7 we have is Amsterdam Drift. Now, just because Amsterdam Drift is at number 7 this low on the list does not mean it's a bad track at all, you guys. All the tracks were really close to each other and very fun. So first of all, the music was fantastic. So in this video, I'm not going to be touching on the music too much because literally every DLC track's music is pretty good. But I did want to talk about the vocals on this track being blended in well with the song itself. In Mario Kart Tour, the vocals are really loud and you could like hear them as you race. But in this game, they're kind of subtle and they're not as ridiculous. Even though I love the vocals, in Mario Kart Tour they tend to be a bit too loud. The tulip field also didn't look too plasticky. The tulips look really nice. I have to say they did look a bit blocky, but honestly, that tulip section was magnificent. And also another huge thing about this track is that the water section wasn't dreadful. So in Mario Kart Tour, I absolutely hate the water section, but in Mario Kart 8, they nailed it. And I have to say, guys, I did like this track better in 8 than in Tour, which is really rare for me. I almost always love the Tour tracks in Tour better than 8, but for Amsterdam, it's better in Mario Kart 8. So now for the bad stuff. So the final lap before turning into the tulip field, it was just kind of unsatisfying. I was not a fan of that turn and it kind of threw me off in a way. I kept bumping into the arrows when I played this track like 3 times. But other than that, I really liked it. I didn't feel like it dragged on like London Loop. It just felt really strong and it felt like Nintendo put effort into it. And number 6 we have is Bangkok Rush, which is crazy it's at number 6 because it's my second favorite city track in Mario Kart Tour. But it did fall pretty underwhelming in my opinion in Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, and I'll tell you why later on. So the good thing about this track is of course the fireworks in the sky. It was obviously a nice touch, and while we were gliding down that, I don't know what this building is, so I'm just going to show you guys a picture, but when we were gliding down this and saw the fireworks in the sky, it looked pretty darn beautiful. Also, the textures on the Ganesha statue was very beautiful, and his mane really popped as we went through the racetrack. I feel like it's the only thing correctly imported over from Mario Kart Tour. I also want to talk about the floating market boats. They were really massive compared to the character, and in Mario Kart Tour they're kind of smaller, but I like them better in Mario Kart 8 because they were more enjoyable to play on and trick off of. And now for the stuff that I just didn't like about this track, you guys. I'm sorry, but the sky... they really went with the polluted sky over the Mario Kart Tour sky. Obviously, respect to you guys who like this sky. In this game, I just personally really missed the Mario Kart Tour sky. The orange, the absence of the orange and yellow and the red, beautiful sunset sky really made this track feel kind of bland to me. I just didn't like the aesthetic of it all. And I also didn't like going up on the staircases that much. The camera kept shaking and it was really unsatisfying. And last thing I didn't like, or I want to say missed opportunity, but whatever, I'll give it to Nintendo, it's fine. This is just an extra thing. They didn't include the inky piranha plants from Mario Kart Tour. These are a new item in that game, or new obstacle I should say, in the Mario Kart franchise. And I thought they would include it in Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, but they didn't. And I was quite like disappointed, you know. That little section underneath the staircase just felt kind of bland, unlike in Mario Kart Tour. So yeah, definitely not one of my favorite tracks in this game, but it still is in Mario Kart Tour. And I'm kind of sad that they did remove some of the iconic features of this track. But nonetheless, it wasn't terrible. Number 5, we have is Riverside Park. So this one was so freaking good that there's nothing bad about this track. Yes, that's how much I loved it. So of course we have the great new enemy slash obstacle in the Mario Kart series, being the Patootie, I think. And I love how he of course blows up items. And I feel like this little obstacle will be nice in the comp scene. The grass is also so lively. I know damn well that it smells fresh, man. Like, I would go there and start making grass angels if that's a thing. Also want to say that the tree textures were incredible, and I love the shading on the roads as well. Holy moly, guys. And the skybox was so unique. Damn Mario Kart 8 devs, that's insane. I also want to talk about the glowing mushrooms in the cave section. They look super majestic. They kind of remind me of Choco Island and the Yoshi's Island cave section. In Mario Kart Tour, the cave section is quite bland, to be honest. And another thing is that I do like this track better in Mario Kart 8 now. I'm gonna be for real with you guys, fully transparent. I did not like Riverside Park in Mario Kart Tour. I did like how the aesthetics of that track were yellow, but it just looks so much better and lively in Mario Kart 8, and I feel like they executed it so much better in this game. And the way how we trick through the ginger ale water is so satisfying, man. I love how we pop in and out with a yellow tint. And lastly, this is something that blew my mind, man. I got hit with a red shell and I looked to my side, and this flower for Mario Sluggers is here. Oh my gosh, now I know this flower is real, like, of course, but it is an iconic one from Mario Sluggers, which is one of my favorite games of all time. And seeing it in this track, man, I smiled instantly. I just did. Amazing track. Round of applause, Nintendo. Damn. Number 4, we had this DK Summit. Snowboarding Shy Guys galore. Of course, I'm so glad that they included these guys, but why would they take them out in the first place? I also love how they didn't patch the gap cuts, man. So freaking good. I love doing these in the Wii, and I'm so glad that they're back in this game. Sadly, in Mario Kart Tour, there are so many invisible walls on this track that you can't even do the gap cut. But I do have to say that I do like this track better in Tour, just kind of biased because Tour is one of my favorite games of all time as well. Mario Kart games, I should say. But yeah, the gap cut, a huge W for us Mario Kart Wii fans. Now, the things I did not like about this track, I have to say, again, the 2D crowd sprites. Just like Mario Circuit, there's 2D crowds again. It just looks kind of foolish in my opinion. Obviously, while you're racing, you can't really see it, but overall, if you dissect the track and you're just looking at the crowd, it looks kind of weird and out of place in this game. Like seeing the crowd, for example, on Sweet Sweet Canyon and then comparing it to, for example, DK Summit, it's laughable. It's really laughable. There's so many characters on the racetrack, as you can see, like on Paris, literally every track. I don't know why they couldn't just like put them on the racetrack, you know? They're already cheering, their sprites are already in Mario Kart Tour and 8. And they could have just put them on here, like spam them onto the crowd, and it would have been really cool. And also, is it just me or did the gliding section take forever? I felt like it was too dragged on. They could have made it a bit shorter. Obviously, it didn't ruin too much of my gameplay. It's just a little critique. But it really just felt way too long. But nonetheless, it was a great remake, and the music as well. I said I wasn't going to talk about the music, but the music was actually really good. And of course, by the way, I can't believe I forgot this, the DK statue, they did import it from Mario Kart Tour, and it just makes so much sense in this game, man. I don't understand why there was a Mario statue to begin with on this track. On to the top 3. Oh my gosh, we're already here, you guys. And number 3 we have is Waluigi Stadium. Now, this was also a huge nostalgic track for me because I loved playing it so much in Mario Kart Wii. It was one of my favorite tracks there, and it's one of my favorite tracks here as well. So the mud, you guys, the freaking mud looks phenomenal. I can't believe I'm simping over mud in my life, but I am, man. OMG. And let me know if you agree, but I love how before you start a race, you can see the crowd jumping and cheering way off into the distance. They look like little ants just cheering for you, like wanting you to win that race. Damn, man, very good. And also the tires spammed across this racetrack made for some pretty nice and challenging obstacles. It was fun to drift around them. And now for the only bad thing I really have about this track, or not really bad, but a little critique, is that as a casual player, it was quite frustrating to get onto the new green ramp path. But when I finally got on it, it was a very fun racing experience. But I kind of wish that they either added more to that track or made it easier to get onto. And now for the top 2. Number 2 we have is Tour Singapore Speedway. Damn man, like I said in my missed opportunities video, Nintendo made an already perfect track even more perfect. Singapore Speedway is so beautiful. It's literally neon galore. I really genuinely rock with the whole vibe of this track. The Chinatown music, how it fades in, is so cool. And also I love the lighting in the Chinatown as well. It looks like the ground is like changing colors from gray to yellow. Oof, super cool. And also the colored water geysers were so majestic, man, majestically beautiful. And it gave me major Las Vegas water show vibes. I don't know if you guys seen that show, but I always watch it whenever I go to Vegas and I liked it. It was a nice homage to that. Kinda, I guess. And also the Goomba stack when we're going back into the Chinatown in the final lap. I love the Goomba stack obstacle. And I also want to say that lap 3 was the best, which is something very unlikely for these tour tracks in my opinion. And just like Riverside Park, there was no critique about this track. It was honestly, genuinely, you guys, perfect. I'm honestly so excited to see Vancouver come into this game. And of course I'll be going downtown Vancouver, which is about 5 minutes away from my house, to vlog it when it initially gets announced for Wave 6. And now for number 1, the one that takes the cake for this all, it is Yoshi's Island. Of course, man, of course. I did not expect myself to like this track so much. Everything feels so lively before you start the race, you guys. Just look at this. It feels heavenly. Also the cute pup Poochie, you could hear him barking before you start the race, and he's animated. He's hopping up and down on the mailbox. And also the flower head Shy Guys and these stilt head Shy Guys. Oh my gosh, they're so adorable in action. Also, drifting up to the volcano was filled with suspense and it was very creative. And when we finally came down from the cloud section, from the skies, I felt like a god coming down to the earth. And then after that, tricking through the flower circle was super wholesome. And in the final lap, the speedy OG music, the sound of Birdo as I raced, Shy Guys in the back, it almost brought me into tears, man. Now this is literally how you make a Mario Kart track. And the ending music, oh my gosh, I'm literally still in shock right now. It was crazy. I was literally vibing so much, you guys. Best DLC wave, hands down. Sorry for yelling. I'm just really passionate about this game, if you cannot tell. Let me know your list in the comments down below, and thank you awesome people for watching this video. Stay fresh and hydrated.
Bye bye!